everybody. We have a great show for you today. Let me get over here to the comments to see who's showing up. And then I will introduce our guest. All right. So we are live on the feed. I like that. Let me see if I can. Okay. We got the Prez. We got TJ. Okay. What's going on, TJ? David? Let me see. Bryant, hey, good to see you. Awesome. We'll give it a few more minutes and watch some people filter in. All right. All right. Uh-oh. Cool. All right. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate that. David tagged the live. Good stuff. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so folks, I got David Sean with us. All right, he's the founder of iPots. Right, it's the iPod grow or home grow kits. Right, and so I had received one on one of the giveaways, and I'm going to open it with you and the man that made it. All right, so David, can you introduce yourself for the folks that are watching, please?
Sure, Joe. First of all, thanks for the opportunity to be here. Thanks to be involved with your group, Vet Codes. And it's a pleasure to get a chance to talk a little bit about my company today. So thank you.
You're welcome, man. And welcome. We enjoy this kind of stuff. We enjoy people that really go above and beyond to help veterans.
Very good. So our plan today is you've got the kit. I'm going to give you a little history about our company and how we got started. And then what do you say we cut your box open? We'll go through all the ingredients, and I'll give you kind of a quick education on how to put that kit together. So within the next 48 hours, you're on your way to growing your first cannabis plant with an iPot home grow kit.
Awesome. That's going to be great. I appreciate that. So David, how did you come up with this kind of idea?
Yeah, so it's very fascinating. But back when the COVID was taking over our lives, I worked for a large company that was struggling on how to deal with our business and in those issues. And I saw this was a perfect opportunity to retire early and take some time off.
Sure.
And so I was living at the time in Phoenix Market. I packed up all my bags. I grabbed a couple of fishing rods and I fly fished across the country as I headed back to my home state of Michigan. And while I made that trip, I started to think about what kind of little business could I create to help build a brand in business. And at the time, I hadn't really picked a type of product or a business that I wanted to be in. But what I wanted to tell you is I got to the state of Michigan, I started seeing all these signs for dispensaries. And it would appear for the first time in my life, you were going to be able to buy cannabis without going to jail or being in trouble. So it kind of opened up my mind. As I made my way through the state, I finally pulled over to a dispensary and I went in and the bud tender took me for a tour of all the products and I got an education that day. And it really opened up my mind that this would really be an interesting industry in which to look at. Meanwhile, at every dispensary, it seemed like a Dairy Queen. There was a line out the door everywhere I went in our state. Right. So it seemed like a quite popular idea. So then I went home and went to work. I started studying the industry, looking at opportunities, trying to figure out where I might be able to come up with a niche product. Meantime, at some point, I ordered up some seeds and I did my first grow, and it was absolutely a phenomenal experience to grow a plant in my house on the windowsill and watching it develop into a fully grown cannabis plant. So that's kind of how I got the idea. So from there, I started to test the product. I started building a few kits. I sent them out to 50 of my buddies across the country, and started to test it, the idea. Meanwhile, I went ahead and signed up for a college course called Cannabis Horticulture and Agriculture, and I
Mhm.
started to learn all the history of cannabis, all the different stages of the product, and all these things that helped me prepare for an idea to launch. So after I had some success sending out the kits and getting some feedback, I was ready to go ahead and start my company. And so about the middle of last year, we created the LLC for my company, and that's how we got started. And then one of our partners that we've been involved with is the Canicon shows around the country. My first show was in Detroit. My last show was in Oklahoma City, where I met all your principals. We
Mhm.
spent full time together. We had a few discussions over the couple days, and we saw this, and I think your team saw this as a great opportunity to have a partnership. And that's kind of how we got going today. What I want to tell you is, people would come by and look at our booth. They'd see the name iPod Home Grow Kits, and they'd kind of stop, they'd digest it, then they'd walk into the booth because they were kind of fascinated that someone had figured out how to put all the ingredients you need in a box, ready to
Right.
go, and put you in business in 24 to 48 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant idea. It truly is. So good on you for that. Good
Great,
stuff.
very
So
good.
so
Um,
I know that I have the half gallon um, auto, right? So, and I understand you have more sizes. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So that's our entry level kit. It's a half-gallon grow kit, and as you open it up, I'll go through all the different ingredients for you, so help people to understand what's in the kit and how it
Sure.
works. But I created a product line. So I have a half-gallon kit. I have a 2-gallon kit. I also have a 5-gallon kit. And what I've learned in the industry is 5 gallon seems to be the biggest preference for most growers, new or experienced.
Mhm.
It seems to be a big enough product for the pot to grow a nice sized plant and produce a nice amount of flower.
Right.
At the same time, because all states were different and having different rules about how many plants you can grow as home grower, I came up with the idea of a friends and family kit. And in that kit, there's 4 half-gallon kits and enough ingredients to grow 4 different plants. And my thought was, you could either share that with your buddies or your family, and you can kind of have a grow off,
Hell
or
yeah.
if you had a tent, or if you wanted to just stagger your grows, you could create a new grow kit each month, and then stagger your grows so you'd have flower for several months
Sure.
as you go. So, and then there's a few accessories on the website, and we also have some reload kits, and those are just designed with our soil and products, so you can just completely start over with a new group of soil. Joe, the other thing I want to point out is all our kits come with seeds. There was a
Yes.
point where it was a little bit touchy sending seeds out to customers around the country, but recently the laws have been a little more formalized.
Right.
Seeds in their ungrown state is not considered a cannabis issue. And so therefore, I think I'm one of the first companies that adds a 5 seed pack into these kits, so you have a chance to grow up to 5 chances to get your kit correct.
Wow. Well, let's get into this one. Let's see what all is in it, and then we can talk about the prices of all your products. Yeah.
Sounds great. If you want to cut your box open and take
All
the
right.
time to just hold up the items, I'll kind of go through and describe each one.
Okay. Let me just keep it here so everybody can see.
So basically, what I tried to do is think about it in terms of everything that you might need in order to get started to grow a plant from seed to harvest. There's my grow guide. Gives you all the information you need to how to germinate, how to start your flowers or your kit to get started, and it'll take you all the way through the harvesting process of drying your flowers and then taking advantage of that through the life cycle.
All right. Sweet. All right. Next deal.
Yep, there's our cloth pot. That's really the most valuable item in the kit. Because it's cloth, it breathes, so it allows the air to move through that deal just fine. lost you there. And then also I noticed when you water from the bottom, it's like a wick. So it actually brings the water up into the plant and the root structure. It works very well.
So one thing I know about fabric pots, because I also use them, is that they air prune the roots. Okay, so a lot of times you'll get root bound and your plants will droop and they'll get sick, right? But with these fabric pots, the roots are allowed to breathe, and therefore, or once the roots touch this stuff, the air kind of cuts them off and prunes them, and so they don't go wrapping around your pot. They just keep on doing their thing. So it's way healthier. Yeah. All right. So we got some packaging material. Okay.
There's our super soil. I got some help from one of the soil experts in the country. My first soil was a little bit too thick and not quite right, so we worked on the recipe a little bit. And anyhow, it's really quite a nice product that it actually has all the ingredients you need, and it can feed the plant for about 100 days. So it's all thought through.
Nice. And so that's pretty good for an auto. That should be the whole life of the auto.
That's exactly right. That's the whole way it was designed.
Nice. Okay. Beautiful. All right. And then we have our perlite.
That's a little bag of perlite. When you get into the instructions, we use that to aerate the pot, aerate the soils, so that again the whole idea is the plant doesn't get congested in the pot and it has a chance to breathe. Just another good product to add to the kit.
Always good. Okay. Oh, look at this.
There we go. So one of the things that I did when we first got started is I signed an agreement with a seed company called Rocket Seeds. And it gives me the chance to buy seeds at a little discount. And then I have about 9 different choices on my website. So that's another benefit. If you pick a kit from us, there's 9 different choices of seeds that you can add to your kit.
Do you have the names of some others that people can pick from?
I've got some in front of me. I don't have them all, but let me just kind of give you an idea. I've got Blue Diesel.
Okay, Blue Diesel. Nice.
White Widow.
Okay, yeah, cool.
And then so our auto flower, I've got some Bruce Banner.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And all these seeds come in 5 packs. And as we'll talk about later, my suggestion is you only do 1 seed at a time, so you have 5 chances to get this pot correct and get it growing properly. So that's another good benefit.
Right. And so, obviously with a half-gallon pot or even a 5-gallon pot, you only want 1 seed in there. Don't want to go putting all of your seeds in one basket.
Yeah, I've had a few customers do that. Just 1 at a time. Correct, Joe.
1 at a time. Okay. Let's see what we got. Sure.
Yeah, so that's cool. You can't really tell from the packaging, but what that is a jeweler's loop. And as you open it up, it's got 2 different magnifying glasses. And then also, if you look closely inside, there's a little switch, and it actually has a light in it, an LED light. There you go. So
nice.
As the trichomes develop on your flowers, you have a chance to look at those with a magnifying glass and decide when you think your flowers are ready for harvest.
That's good. Good idea. That's very important. And that's the only way you can tell if your plant's actually ready is through the trichomes.
I agree.
Okay.
That's my Jiffy pellet. Pretty simple. If you've never seen one of those before, that's what we use to get the germinated seed started once it's created a tap root. And I'll explain that as we get going, how we take advantage of that. But that's another piece of the puzzle to get your plant started correctly and get growing in a good fashion.
Roger that. Okay, cool. And then we got...
Yeah, so that's a cocoa core. I call it a hockey puck.
Looks similar.
And I'll explain that as we talk about it further, but that's part of the medium that goes on top of the super soil. And that's how the seedling gets started without getting burned from all the ingredients in the super soil. So the seedling starts its life through the cocoa core. And then after about 2 to 3 weeks, as the root structure moves into the super soil, not only will you see that plant start to really grow fast and explode, but the plant itself is ready to take on those nutrients and start to grow into its full-grown plant.
So this is a layered deal, right? And so once your seedling reaches out and it hits all the nutrients and stuff, it's old enough so it won't get hurt, but it explodes in growth and really does some good stuff. Yeah.
It takes off. And so
All right.
it's well designed to think through those different processes to get to that point.
And now with all these things, can you reuse this soil, or would you suggest that we re-amend it before using it again?
That's a great question. I really have always just reused or excuse me, just used new soil. So I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that I've read articles where people do reuse their soils, recondition it.
Sure.
You would technically you have to add your nutrients back in, but I guess that's possible as well.
And then after, if it's just been sitting around for a while and it dries out, you'll have the myco that you'd want to be putting back in there for living soil type stuff and delivering your nutrients and whatnot.
Yeah.
Would that be something?
In your kit, Joe, there should be another package in there, and it's got some root booster, some diatomaceous earth.
Yep.
There you go. So those are these little packets that I'm going to explain to you how you put those into your kit, and it just adds those enzymes in there to make that kit grow as strong as possible.
Okay. So diatomaceous earth.
Right.
And we got some root booster.
You got it.
Cool. Cool ass slap.
Put that on your tent wall, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would assume for the seeds after you've opened the package. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little capsule. So you're going to have 5 seeds. You might as well store the other 4 seeds in that little capsule until you're ready for the next grow.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Got a hygrometer?
It looks like maybe the battery's dead on that one. I'm sorry about that, but
I have a whole pack.
That's a temperature gauge and a humidity gauge. Again, that's somewhat important as you're growing your plant, that you want to keep them in a certain range, and that will help you do that.
Roger that. All right, and then I think can't forget this little tag.
That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. You can write in your strain on that and maybe put a date on when you started your grow.
I do that every time because I do multiple strains, multiple plants, and I need to remember what they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let me look at some questions real quick. Real quick. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, and then it comes with a little tray to collect.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
So again, I think you'd agree now looking at that. Everything's in there that you need to get started.
Everything is in there. Yeah.
Now,
minus the light, which isn't really a terrible deal. Now, folks, I'd like to tell you real quick. I actually did a study today, and about the PAR, the intensity of lighting. A lot of people can't buy lights and stuff, but with a regular light bulb, 6 to 8 inches will give you 250 PAR, which is perfect for a seedling, right? If you get 3 inches away, it'll give you a 750 PAR, which is exactly what you would be wanting, late veg and early flower. And so keep that in mind. Where there's a will, there's a way, folks. Okay. Yeah, TJ, everything is in here, man. I'm telling you, it's literally everything you need to grow. Minus, like I said, your light. And it even tells you how to do it. So that's what's up. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff. All right. I can't believe you fit that in that little box.
I'm going to walk you through on how you would build your kit, okay? And I'm just going to do that from experience.
You want me to keep pulling it out?
We can talk about it as you go. So the first thing is you need to germinate your seeds. So
Right.
I go on my grow guide talks about the paper towel method. There's other methods out there. Even you use a different method, and that's fine. But I give instructions on how to do that. Basically, you take your first seed. You don't touch it. You don't want to get any human elements on the seed. But anyhow, you put it in a little dish and you soak it for 14 to 18 hours. Okay. And I like to put that in the cupboard, like a dark space, and let that get a chance to get wet. Then I move that into a paper towel on a plate or a little bowl or something. And then I make sure that paper towel is very moist. And then I'll put that in my closet and let that a day or two, you'll start to notice that the taproot will actually get started. And what I recommend to my grow guide there is when that taproot gets to about a ½ inch, you're ready to start your kit and plant that seedling. So that's the first step is germinating one seed at a time. The next step is you simply take the super soil, you pour that into your pot, which is pretty simple. And then you take the cocoa puck,
Okay.
And that is hard pressed. And what you'll find is you can use a bowl, a plastic bag, or a bucket, and you can put in about 4 or 5 cups of warm water, and that thing will expand 5 or 6 times its size.
Okay.
And what happens is it turns into what I refer to as cocoa slush. It's wet and it formulates, but it's a great medium. And then from there, you would load that into your pot on top of the super soil. I do not pack it in there, but just gently put it in there and set it up. The next thing you do is you soak your Jiffy pellet. Can you pull that out? There you go. That takes about 5 or 10 minutes, and that's going to increase to the size of about 2 golf balls to give you an idea of reference. Once that's done and you've got the cocoa built into the pot, I like to take a spoon and dig out the very center so that Jiffy pellet's going to fit into that pot correctly.
Gotcha.
And you want to just let the Jiffy pellet sit about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch above the cocoa slush, and that completes your pot. Then I've used a pen, a screwdriver, and my finger, and create a little hole in the top of the Jiffy pellet, and that's where we're going to set the seed down. And what I've learned to do, Joe, is I use a spoon or a tweezers so I can gently drop that taproot down into that hole, and then you can just gently push the pellet together. It will cover it with dirt, and then from there it's ready to be put into a windowsill or under a light. And what I find is that plant will start to break above the surface in about 1 to 2 days, and after that, Joe, you're off to the races.
All right, that sounds fun.
Well, cool. That's it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited. I'm gonna follow your instructions to the T as well.
Great. Appreciate that. So let's see if I've missed anything. So we got that. I want to talk about what I learned in my experience and all my buddies' experience. You know, they got so excited. The first thing they want to do is overwater every day. When you build your pod and it's got water in there from the cocoa slush, there's actually enough water in there probably not to have to water that plant for the first week. Certainly a few days. It depends on the environment where you are, but there's plenty of moisture in there for that seed to get started. The other thing I learned is it just needs a little bit of water about every 3 days just to keep it with a little bit of moisture as that root section starts to grow and passes through the membrane of the Jiffy pellet and starts to make its way down to the super soil. It takes about 2 or 3 weeks, but you'll notice once that plant starts to, its root structure gets into the soil, the plant will start to develop and sometimes almost double day to day in the early stages as it starts to feed off of the super soil.
Nice. Yeah, I've noticed, I mean, because I've grown autos a lot, and I noticed that they do kick in at a certain stage. They will just literally explode into maybe an inch worth of growth a day. Like they can do that. And so, yeah, I just love that point too, because you wake up in the morning, you come in, see your plant, and it's a new plant. It's a beautiful thing.
Very good. Hey, while I got you on the phone, I built one today. Let me just show you what a kit looks like finished, all right?
Yeah, let's see it. Hey, and also real quick question for you, David. TJ was asking if they're all autos or if you have any photos in the lineup.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I started with autos, and I realized on the 5-gallon kit, people might want to grow outside on their balcony or even in their tents. So I have 9 different strains available on my website, and 3 of them are photo period, and the rest are autos. So, and I'll make a recommendation if a customer needs help depending on what size they want, of what seeds might be good for their area. Here's a plant I put together today. Let's see here. We get that squared away. Anyhow, so I've got the seedlings started. I got it planted today. If you can kind of see the cocoa on top, and the super soil's in it. But anyhow, we're off and running now. I'll just put that in the windowsill, and it will do its thing. I've also got a bigger plant here, Joe. Excuse me. This is an auto flower.
Nice.
This is our 2-gallon kit. I'm off to the races. You can't really see it, but there we go.
Nice.
And so it gives customer an idea of what the different sizes is. I've always heard that the bigger the pot, the bigger the plant. I think there's some truth in that.
There is a little bit, but not with autos.
Yeah, but I think what happens is when you have more room in a pot in which for the root structure to grow,
Feel it.
that can dictate how big the plant will actually get. So
And
that
it could
makes
never
perfect sense.
it can never run out of room, basically is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah.
it.
So I think when we talk about the photo periods, that my soil's designed so it has about 90 to 100 days of nutrients built in. So there probably will come a point if you're growing all summer that you'll have to start feeding your plant a little later in the summer. But for the most part, there's enough nutrients in there to get that started and do very well, and it'll produce a very healthy plant as you move into the summer months.
Right. And so David, with all that we've seen, can you give us a rundown on how much like the half gallon and the 2 gallon and all the prices would be for these?
Yeah, sure. I'll be glad to do that. First of all, I think the half gallon, in my notes or when I put it in my kit, we discussed that can grow about an ounce of dried flour.
Mhm.
You're going to prove me wrong, and you're going to grow yours in your 10. And you said we could get two, and I'd love
It's
to see some
possible.
pictures and see how it happens. The 2 gallon kit, we were suggesting around 4 ounces. And then we ran a test on our 5 gallon last summer. We had a tremendous plant grow. We had a plant that produced 1.2 pounds of dried flour, which is fantastic
That
on
is.
a 5 gallon kit. My pricing, we're at 119 on the half gallon kit.
Okay.
We're at 149 on the 2 gallon. And then the 5 gallon, we charge 189. And then when you think about that, you have 5 seeds in that kit.
Yeah.
And technically, if you can get all 5 seeds to germinate and grow, you should do quite well
Yeah.
with a group of 5 seeds for 189.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so I think the value's definitely there. And of course, when we talk tonight with your group and your organization, we've also created a discount just for your members. And they can reach out to TJ or David or yourself for that discount code that can be used on the website.
Awesome. And you were gracious enough to give us a 20% discount from what I'm reading in the comments.
That's correct. 20% to all your members. And again, we designed a special code. So when you go into the website and place an order, you'll put in your special code and it will discount your kit to show that discount, 20% discount.
Thank you on behalf of all the veterans for that discount. We appreciate you for that.
You bet. You bet. So I had some more best practices. I do use a light occasionally. You know, I grew up in Michigan. It's not sunny here every day. So I went down to the local home development store, department store, and purchased an LED light. It was, I think it was a 60-watt light. I picked it up right in the lighting department. And it does a great job of helping me make sure that the plants are getting enough light on cloudy or rainy days. And
Sure.
you'll kind of laugh about this, Joe, but I put a little thing in the ceiling with a little pulley, and I can move that light up and down as I need it as the plants start to grow a little bit, and make sure they're getting plenty of light without burning the plants or getting too much light. But it's a great way to be able to raise it as you need it and let the plants grow.
I can't laugh at you. I actually bought something that did the same thing. So yeah, I can't laugh at you for that. I paid way too much for them too. So, but that's a hell of an idea. I mean, because you do, once the plant gets bigger, you got to keep distance, you'll burn your plant if you don't. So good point. That's a great point. Thank you.
You know, I should back up real quick because we went through it rather quickly, but I really designed this plant to grow on your windowsill. I wasn't involved in, I wanted to hit a certain niche and a certain price point where you didn't have to spend a fortune to grow plants. And as long as you pick a window that has the sun that can hit that window from anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, you can do a nice job growing a plant indoors in a big picture window. Sure. And do very well. It does just fine with actual sun through the window.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
It wants to grow. It wants to grow.
Yeah, that's cannabis in general. I mean, everybody thinks they need to have their hands on it. No, cannabis will do great on its own. We just try to help it a little bit when us humans think we can do it. So
absolutely. So I think we covered everything that I had for you today. I don't know if there's any questions that came up from any of our people watching.
Yeah, I'm looking right now as we speak, David, and I'm probably going to go back up because I might have missed some. Let me look. Okay. No, not yet. Anybody got any more questions that haven't been asked already or have been asked that I haven't seen yet? Let us know, folks. We're here to answer all these questions.
This would be a good time for me to give a shout out on our social media. We work off of our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and our Twitter page. And let me just take a moment and spell these out in case anyone's watching. They could follow us along with us. Our Facebook page is ipot Home Grow Kits. Instagram is ipot.live. And our Twitter feed is ipot.live. Also, Joe, that's our website. It's ipot.live. That will get you to the website. And then once you get there, we refer to our company as the ipot Home Grow Kits.
Nice. Okay. So maybe I should try to put that on the site. I'm sure we have that information out there, but we'll try to bump that post that we did just so people can see it. No, that's not. A lot of people just saying how much they enjoy it, like sit it and forget it. I mean, so it seems to be kind of playing on a busy life, like, hey, you can still do this and go do all your busy life stuff and accomplish all of it together. Okay, so Aaron, we went through the kit. I opened it all up. It took us most of the thing. I'd have to ask you to go back and watch it. It's got everything you need, though, Aaron. I can promise you that. One heck of a kit. Give me one sec, David. Still going. So here, Bryant Smith is asking about which window. I'm going to go ahead and let you answer that, David.
Sure. So in real experience, so my window points to the west. So the sun seems to hit that window around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's sunny until the sun goes down. So I pick up probably 5 or 6 hours of direct sunshine out of my window. Again, you can easily put this on your patio. You could put it in again, you just have to pick the right window that gets the most amount of sunshine. And direct sunshine. You need direct sunshine for this to grow. The more, the better. In other words, if you can figure out a window that gets 6 hours of sunshine, you're off to the races. It would work well.
Okay, so thank you for that answer. So Shane's asking, can a reservoir be hooked up for later in flower for a dripper?
That's a great question. I don't know. I have never tried that before. Can you answer that, Joe?
I would suggest that you could. But like for me, I have a half-gallon auto. I don't think I would need it. I think that, it would take me maybe a cup of water at a time, maybe 2 cups at most. So drips, unless you did all 5 of them, like if you bought a bunch of them together, yeah, that would probably be a pretty slick idea, help you with your watering purposes. But, once again, you do you. If you want to hook up your 5-gallon or your 2-gallon with a dripper, by all means, man, make your life easier for sure. I don't even have a dripper. I wish I did, but I don't. Okay, well that seems to be all the most pertinent questions. Oh, wait, here we go. Have you tried watering with ice cubes? I haven't. Have you messed with ice cubes?
I have not, but I've heard before that soil can get really hot, and sometimes you do want to cool it down. So it does. It seems logical to me, depending on your climate. Mm-hmm. If you were in Phoenix, Arizona, at 115 degrees. Yeah. That might be the perfect place to water with ice cubes.
Sure, I can see that. And I also heard that watering with ice cubes will change color, change the color of the plant, like on the leaves and on the bud. Never experienced it, but maybe.
Joe, we didn't talk about pests, but one of the items that was in the kit was diatomaceous earth, which is a silica, which actually gets mixed in with your cocoa. And the whole idea of that is that it actually is a natural bug pesticide. So as the bugs get a little of that powder on them, that actually gets into their shell and brings them to an early death. So it's a great natural product that's added into the kit.
So where would I want to apply this diatomaceous earth?
Yeah. So again, in the instructions booklet, when you start to put together your cocoa slush, you add your perlite, your root booster, and the DE all into that slush and stir it together. And then that's how you just add that back on top of the super soil.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for that. I've never used it. Thank God. I guess I've never had to. Knock on wood. I hope I never have to. But good to know. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. David, I'm not seeing any more questions. I see TJ is saying that the cold tends to bring out the purple in your plant. So yeah, it was about color for me anyway. That was what I knew of it. But they also said that Bryant also said that it seeps in slowly, and so it would be like a slow water. Interesting idea. Interesting. But so if there's no more questions, and David, if you have any more stuff, man.
I just would like to again say thank you for this opportunity. I met your principals in Oklahoma City. We had a nice visit. They told me they're coming to Detroit, Michigan to the show, the CannaCon show in Detroit. And that's where I live now. I live in Rochester, Michigan, which is just north of Detroit. So I'll look forward to seeing your team again this fall, and we'll get a chance to get together again at that show if we all could participate. I do want to give a shout out to my new partner. His name is Craig Michael. We're in a position that once we grow a little bit in our size, we could have a distribution center in Texas. It would just mean that we can be better to ship product the very next day and deliver within 24 to 48 hours. And I also want to give a shout out to my media consultant. By accident, I met this gal, and she's helped me build this site from day one. She runs our social media, and she's done a fantastic job. In a short period of time, we've picked up almost about 10,000 followers, and I'm hoping tonight we'll even pick up some more. But sure. If any of your members join us and buy a kit, we'll post their pictures if they send them to us on our site, and we'll make sure that people get the views out there. Her name is Sarah Jane Wilson, and she's a journalist for High Canada magazine in British Columbia. And then she runs my social media as a side gig, which has been just great. She's done a great job for us.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a hell of a crew, my man.
Great.
Good on you.
I think what I'd like to say in closing is I want to thank all the veterans for their service.
Well, thank you for your support, David, for sure. Thank you for your support on behalf of all the veterans that can't speak right now.
Very good.
So David, I want to tell you thank you for coming on here and helping me explain everything and helping me show everybody what we got. Remember, I'm going to be doing updates. I'm going to try to do bi-weekly. More than likely, it'll at least be once a week, but maybe for you, I could do it bi-weekly. And once again, thank you for coming on here and spending the time and talking to everybody. Everybody's showing their gratitude for you, so be aware of that.
Right. And I'm always available. If someone has a question, they can email me, and you've got my email address. And, of course, again, our website, ipot.live.
ipot.live. We got you, man.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I had a great time tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, David, thank you for showing up. Everybody, thank you for showing up, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, Thursday, we're going to be talking with Rebecca from Blue. I'm sorry, I can't remember the rest of the name, but it's going to be a good show. Okay, don't forget, guys, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have our giveaways, and don't forget to sign up for them. And don't forget to, if you guys can, man, go get into that raffle or the community grow. I want to see some people there, man, so we can help you guys grow, and you guys can help out the Vet Codes community. Okay, all right. It was a blast, ladies and gentlemen. Let me sign out. All right, we'll see you. Have a good one.
Good evening.